sound effects.
I want a washboard.
You got some help, guys.
Was it made by hand?
Huh? Okay.
Yes.
All right, everybody ready? All right, we're going to start down at this end with these boys. All right, what do you have? I'm going to grab the artifact. What artifact, guys? Okay, here's what we're going to do as we go through. I'm going to ask each team to answer questions. You don't have to raise your hands as your team, but only the team can answer. Okay? All right, so you three boys, what is this?
A washboard.
A washboard. You don't have to raise your hands if you're on the team. All right, what was it used for?
You don't have
Tell me.
Cleaning clothes.
Cleaning clothes. Okay, do we use it today?
No.
Not really. Maybe one or two people, but most people don't. What do we use instead today? Yeah.
An iron.
An iron to wash clothes?
No. Oh, wash.
What do you use to wash clothes?
Dryer.
Washing machine. Perfect. We use a washing machine. We don't use a washboard anymore. So this would be, look at how we've come a long way. This would have, to do clothes was an all-day job back then. You had to, each piece of cloth, rub, 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 and pass it on. Rub, 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 and you had to do it one at a time. Today, you throw a whole bunch of clothes in the washing machine, you walk away, you come back 30 minutes later, and it's done, right? What, can you believe how far we've come? A lot different today than back then. All right, I'm going to leave this down here because it's heavy. All right, let's go to the next artifact. So the next artifact we have is, come on, boys. It's a horseshoe. What's it used for? Yeah.
It's for horses.
It's to put on their feet. It protects the horses. So if the horse, remember, okay, so I don't know that we've gotten into this yet. We sort of talked about it a little bit with the candles. Horses, and a little bit up front, horses are very rare. We didn't have a lot of horses. They're expensive. And horses were used to travel, right? So you might ride on it. You also might use it to plow your field and to help pull things, right? When you're doing, and so horses were very, very important. You wanted to protect your horse a lot. If he walked around without this, he might get things up in his hoof. And this made sure that didn't happen, and it kept the horse alive longer and working longer, because you didn't want a lame horse. That wouldn't do any good, right? So very, very important to have this. Awesome. Do we use this today? Yeah, we use horseshoes today on horses. Now, if horses represent transportation, which I would argue they were transportation back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've talked
If
about
they
that.
represent transportation, do we tend to use horses for transportation today? What do we use instead at this table? These four boys. Cars or tractors or trucks, right?
Cars.
Yep. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right. What do we have here? A book. Yes. It's a Bible. But you're right. It's not just a Bible. It's a book. What was it used for back then? Yeah.
For reading and tells you things.
Exactly. So, from the perspective of religion, it was used to learn about God, right? Religion was very, very important to the people who came here, to the pioneers of this day. They would have all had a family Bible, likely. They would have brought it with them. It would have been one of the things they brought with them. But that's probably the only book they owned. Can you imagine only having one book in your house? Oh my gosh. And when you went to school, the schoolhouse didn't have any books. So guess what? You brought your family Bible to read at school. Pretty cool. So it was a book to read. It was not just learning about religion, but also learning how to read, to educate. Very good. Do we use this today? Yeah. What, do we have other things we use in addition to this? What? Yeah. Different materials, but what do you use to read today in school? Yeah. You have English books today you read, and you have other books you read, right? I'm trying to think what books of your era, but you have all kinds of books you probably read. I know, I'm trying to think. My nephew reads the Mouth one. I forget what that one is. Oh boy, I'm really bad. But there's all kinds of books you might read today other than this, right? Skeleton? Anyway. All right. So today you don't necessarily read. Can you imagine having to learn to read using the Bible words, the words from the Bible? That would have been pretty hard to read, huh? But that's what they used. They didn't read Dick and Jane back then. I don't know if we do today. All right, here's another artifact we got. And where's the, I need that too. All right, girls, what is this artifact? You can just tell me.
A candle holder and a feather.
Not quite. Not quite. This is really, really old. Yeah, do you know?
The feathers used as a quill.
It's a quill, yes. It would be for writing. And what would be in this? Yeah. Yeah, so you would dip your ink in and write your letter. Dip your ink in and write your next letter. Very, very slow. Do we use it today? No, not really. What do we use in place of it today? It was used for writing, right? What do we use today? Yeah? Pencils and pens and markers and crayons and all kinds of stuff, right? Now, they would have used this to write letters back home. Remember, it took 45 days to get here, right? Well, if you wanted to write back home to your best friend back home that you left behind, it would take at least 45 days for that letter to reach them. And probably more like 2, 3, or 4 months. So you'd send the mail and it would take forever to get there because you had to wait till somebody was going back home and would take the letter with them. And it would take that person 45 days to get back home. So you might wait a month before somebody was going back home and would take the letter. So it was a very long time to get the letter home. So in some ways, it also represents communication, right? Because letters are communication. If you want to communicate today, does it take you 45 days to 3 months to tell somebody something today? You want to tell your best friend something, how would you do it? Yeah. Phone. What else might you do? Talk on the phone. What else might you do? Yeah. You might write a letter with a pen or pencil. What else might you do? On the keyboard. Or with your this way keyboard. Yeah. Might write emails, right? Or texts. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, I got you. Sorry, I came too fast. All right, so today for communication, we have much faster, and it reaches them like that, right? You don't even have to wait, you can tell somebody something. Back then, no, you would tell them and wait. All right, last artifact here. What do we got? A doll. What was it used for?
Sleeping with and
Playing with. It would be a toy, right? It's a toy. All right, do we use this as a toy today? Yes. But, all right, how many of you guys have more than 2 toys? All right, you guys to the pioneers would be rich. They would have 1 toy, maybe 2 toys if they were lucky. And it would be made out of scraps. It would not be bought at the store. And so toys were very precious to them, and they take great care of them. So today, do we have more toys than just a doll? Yeah, what do we have? Name a couple things real quick. Yeah, just name it.
dog, cat.
Well, baseballs, basketballs, Wii's, yeah.
PlayStation.
PlayStations, we got all that instead. So we have a lot more toys today than they would have back then. All those things didn't exist back then. All right, we
You know
are...
how to use it? How do you use it, class? Yes, you beat the dirt out. And sometimes when the children don't behave, they also get their...
AJ.
Okay, good. Will my life return? Thank you. Good job. Yep, pull it. Good.
AJ.
Okay, let Jamie get the turn. Thank you. Finish it up, please.
But give me a couple big pinches
We're
of that.
almost done. Oh, you're done. Okay, thank you. Nope,
Yeah.
go ahead.